All right, welcome back. Let's continue where we left off. But let's see if we can do this quickly. Let's quickly go to Asaba and link up with the CEO of Nigeria Pitch Awards. That's Shino Phillips. Good evening, Shino. It's good to have you join us tonight.
Good evening. It's always a privilege, quite honored to be on this program. There could be no better place.
All right. Thank you. Let's just get straight into it. The awards is become part of our calendar now, and a lot of activities around it. Is there anything different this year? Is there something, new categories? Is it going to be done differently? Any side attractions? What should we be expecting?
Well, first, I like your choice of words. I think that by God's grace, the Nigeria Pitch Awards is getting into the global calendar of events. We hope so. I mean, it's a beautiful brand coming out of Nigeria. And so if there's anything to expect, I will always want to reiterate the stand, the character, the true character of the Nigeria Pitch Awards, which is basically transparency, credibility, and the prestigiousness of the awards. And I'm sure that's why Channels Television will identify with this, with the Nigeria Pitch Awards. And not just Channels Television. I really must commend the role of the media, because basically they've all been part of it. And that's because, first, God, and then the fact that we've chosen to be credible, we've chosen to be transparent. And so if there's anything to expect, perhaps that we are going to honor Channels Kids Cup for the wonderful job they are doing. And then again, for those in the media, I'm very, very particular about the media, for the role the media plays, not just in the Nigerian Pitch Awards, but again, for bringing football to different homes. Because without the media, I'm sure that football will be still very unentertaining. And so what do we expect? Is it just the glamour? No. The fact that we want to see the right man win in the different categories. We want to see winners truly, voted for by the College of Voters, and at the end of it, everybody is satisfied that the winner in any of the categories is truly the one deserving of winning.
All right. Let me quickly ask you this. Does this awards recognize efforts of people in football doing this at the grassroots? Does it incorporate a lot of people are doing amazing things at grassroots level? So does this award recognize them as well?
Well, of course, we do that, and that's the reason I'm sure that this year we want to honor Channels Television for the grassroots, their beautiful concept. We're hoping that with this, that we can push the Ministry of Education to fight back, to bring back a Principal Cup, because we need, Nigeria should be able to win the World Cup, but it will require us to go back to the grassroots, and we are doing so well to appreciate and recognize anyone that is driving that effort. And that's why we commend Channels Television and any individual out there. We need pillars of sports in Nigeria. We are missing out on that. And I'm sure for some pillars of sports, they will definitely work on the grassroots. And so for anyone, any state that is basically pursuing that, which is also why we have the state with the best grassroots developmental program, that's a category. And that category for us is a very unique one, because we believe that if you can catch them young, then someday Nigeria can win the World Cup.
You spoke glowingly of the Channels International Kids Cup. I'm tempted to ask you, it's made an impression on you. Can you tell us why?
Well, the reason, because while growing up myself, if I had not played football being young, I would not have even been a part of what I'm doing today with this award, this reward system. You need to appreciate football when you are there young, and then you have someone trying to teach you what the game is all about, the beauty of the game. It's so, in local parlance, I think I saw my friend Alfred, he understands what I'm saying. In local parlance, we say, oh, waleje, that is, football is in your blood, and you can only start from when you're young, you know, and that's why it's very important that we place great emphasis on catching them young. That's the reason I am so much in love with Channels International Kids Cup, because just how that came about, and I think on one of the programs, this particular program, I said that this is not just going to be in Nigeria alone. It's going to be Channels, you know, World Kids Cup. And I'm sure that Channels can do that. You know, it's not just because, yeah. It's not just because I find myself here. When something is good, when it's beautiful, you must commend it. And we don't need to waste time like we used to behave in Africa before, but I'm sure Africa have picked up. We need to celebrate what is right when it is happening, so that you can inspire others to do the right thing. I tell you, anywhere, put me on any of the international media, I will always give it to Channels Television. Catching them young, it's not an easy job, but I tell you, that's the future of football for Nigeria.
All right. Well, Shino, we're pressed for time, but I want to thank you for taking out time out of your busy schedule to talk to us, and we wish you all the best at the awards tomorrow.
Yes, I also let...
Okay, I'm sure you wanted to, you know, say one or two things, but he'll get across to us. We'll find a way to let him get across to us. Guys, let's quickly go to France. A lot is happening in France as we speak. The opening game is on the way, second half now. Guys, that's what you have right there on screen. Let me start with Alfred. Were you expecting this?
Well, France as the host, yes, so much in terms of expectations. We've seen what they've been able to do with their development system, the development program, under 17, under 20. They've been very consistent over the years. Perhaps this, now that they're hosting, and the good thing about this competition is that, given the kind of prominence, you know, 1 month, the first time the World Cup will play through this period. And I think for the French, they are prepared for this one. The receiving support from the highest level. The other day, saw the president, and the wife visiting the team and talking to them at their high performance center. So good start. Incidentally, or unfortunately, we're in the same group with the French national team.
Damilola, it shouldn't scare us though. We know we're going to see things like this. But I just hope whenever they play us, we won't be seeing that kind of scoreline.
Well, we can only hope. Until that day comes, we can only hope. But this particular scoreline is not surprising at all to me. Just like you said, the French people seems to have found a structure that works for them at every level. I mean, they are currently the men's World Cup holder. They won the men's World Cup. The Women Champions League, Lyon from France also won that. We were hoping that our own assistant will, but at least she made the record of being the first African to score in the final. So
that's progress. Anyway,
that's progress. And is it about a year ago or about almost 2 years now? Our last friendly, they defeated us. I just hope that, we don't like to remember. And I think that should be Thomas Dedeby's first game with the Super Falcons.
Baptism of fire.
His baptism of. I just hope that experience will just probably work for us to some extent. But really, I think our best bet of getting out of this group, for me, depends on the results we were able to get against Norway and South Korea.
Okay.
I'm not putting too much hope on that game against.
All right, since you talked about it, now you have it on screen. The matches that we played tomorrow, Nigeria's opening game against Norway. Tomorrow, Germany will take on China. I mean, this doesn't get bigger than this when it comes to women's football. Very good advertisement for women's football. And of course, Spain and South Africa. Coach Desiree Ellis already complaining even before the ball has been kicked. I mean, the scoreline for them hasn't been encouraging. But let's dwell on Nigeria. Alfred, okay, Sunday as well. Australia will take on Italy. Brazil will take on Jamaica. And England, led by Philip Neville, will take on Scotland. These are the matches for the weekend. If you're a lover of women's football, there's enough for you on Saturday and on Sunday. But Alfred, let me really get your thoughts. That game against Norway. What do you think the Falcons can do to ensure that at least they get something from that game? It's very important that we get something from that game.
I think a lot will depend on how the executive game tomorrow. They've had a fantastic, no doubt they've had a fantastic preparations. It's been a while. Women's team is giving this kind of preparations. Friendly games. Went to training camp in Austria. Landed in France. So the preparation has been good, and so much is expected. For me, I just want to a bit water down my expectations a bit. I know that when it comes to one of the first countries that went into women's football, the Scandinavian countries, very, very good at it. But what have we over the years? We've had players go there and excel. That means we would have learned one or two things. And so we want to see a better performance from the girls. For me, sometimes I'm not too particular about, the victory or margin of victory at the end of the day. I want to be able to watch the girls and say, okay, you know what, our girls used to play this way before, but see the way they've, turned out. There's a little bit of coaching, there's improvement in the way they've deployed themselves. I think that will be positive because over the years we've seen, you go there, you say, okay, there are things that we needed to do that we've not really done, and that's why Thomas Deneby in the first place was called in. So we just have to see in practical terms what they've been able to.
Before we leave the little matter of the ladies, there's this argument that people use to support why they think we should do well at the FIFA Women's World Cup, and they say that the gap is closing. I don't know if you agree that the gap is closing. Is the gap still as huge as it was probably in '91, or you feel the gap is closing but it is not close enough?
I think the gap, I think this World Cup will say a lot if the gap really is closing. Because I am not one that will deceive myself about the gap closing. Over the years, we've seen our players move from the local league here abroad, but then we still get beaten by especially these European sides. And that's what I'm hoping that with Thomas Deneby, we'll see an improvement. And just like he said, I totally agree with him that even if we are going to lose, the quality of performance from the Falcons, the way they approach the games will matter. Because the French, the Norways of this world, the USAs of this world, the Brazils of this world did not get here by the snap of a finger. So we've had Thomas Deneby going to his second year now. And so some level of coaching that you expect that we should have is key for me. And if we bring a bit of an African flair into it, which I believe is also good enough with the proper coaching and the proper deployment of personnel at every given time, I think we should. Don't forget that in this group, all you need is probably 4 points might be enough because the top place teams will also still progress. And I think with the talent in this team, if we can get our hearts together and do not lose our matches before we get on the pitch, because that's where psychology now comes in.
All right, that's true.
I believe we can do something at this World Cup.
Okay.
I'm optimistic that we'll get out of this one.
Okay, all right, so Damilola saying it, there some optimism that we might get something. If anything happens again, France already leading 3-0. If anything happens again, we'll let you know. But let's spend a few minutes that we have left talking about the MPFL Championship playoffs. That's day 2 results. I don't want to tell you what Alfred said when we were off camera, but let me just read out the results. Aqua United beating FC Ifeanyiba 2-1. Rangers beating Lobby Stars 2-1. And the other game was played later today, and of course, Kano Pillars defeated.
Corrected.
Yeah, that's it for you. Kano Pillars defeated Enyimba 2-0. Alfred, let's quickly talk about this before we take a look at what to expect tomorrow. I mean, any surprises so far? Let me just start that way. Any surprises so far? We've seen close games.
For me, that perhaps maybe the quality of football being played. We've seen some tremendous, some awesome display by players, feisty encounters, players really going at it, because the way it is, after 2 rounds of games, nobody knows who's going to go out. 2 or 5 games, nobody knows who is really in pole position to win this match. For example, the Kano Pillars Enyimba game was progressing well yesterday until the heavens opened up. Today, personally, I thought that at the end of the day, that perhaps maybe Enyimba get 1 or 2 goals on the board. They had several scoring opportunities this morning to bury Kano Pillars, including a penalty and Ifeanyi and Emina, or rather, Soraju Ayil also saved the ball. Eventually, they lost. So every team that's taking part, the 6 teams, everybody has considered at least a goal. It just tells you that the strikers are doing their job and making it difficult for the goalkeepers and defenders. So after 2 rounds of game, it just tells you the level of competition. Right. Some very, very, very outstanding football being played.
At the Soccer Temple, that's the Agege Stadium. It's been a Christian Soccer Temple by a lot of football fans. So, match the 3 fixtures. Kano Pillars taking on FC Ifeanyi, Lobi Stars taking on Eyimba, Aqua United taking on Rangers. All matches to be played at the Agege Stadium. And after 2... okay, I'm very sure it's going to come up on your screen. This is after day 1. But after day 2, we're going to see it shortly. But you look at the matches... match watching games to be played tomorrow. I mean, just pick up your materials, whatever you have, your lunch, maybe your breakfast. Just go there. You're going to be entertained from 2 to 7. A lot of interesting matches to be played.
I think what you need is just your breakfast. You can take this football for your lunch.
For your lunch and dinner.
All you need is just your breakfast. Fantastic football being played, and I think this is good advert for the MPFL. Unfortunately, these matches are not on TV.
We hear that from Monday. It's going to be on TV.
It's going to be fantastic if that happens. That would be fantastic, because I tell you, the quality of football there has been top-notch. And for those that will criticize the Nigerian league, I hope they know that there is quality as far as Nigerian football is concerned. Looking at these matches, from the first 2 days, it's difficult now to call these matches to predict, because I'll look at Lobi and Eyimba, and I'm thinking, Eyimba, after losing today, would they want to lose tomorrow? I don't think so. And then Lobi again cannot afford to lose because they lost their first match, which means anytime you drop points now, you are not doing yourself any favor. Unfortunately, FC Ifeanyi seems to be the only team that is below there. They are first from where, and to play Kano Pillars, that will have taken a lot of confidence from not conceding majorly against Eyimba. I think it's going to be difficult for Ifeanyi.
You know what, guys? Before we listen to the coaches, we're going to listen to the coaches shortly. But quick one: Super Eagles is playing tomorrow. This match is as well.
Super Falcons are playing tomorrow.
Will it affect? Do you still feel the fans will come out?
I think the fans will come out. Everybody is not in Asaba.
Yeah.
Everybody is not in Asaba, and everybody also is not in France. So that's why social media comes in. You are in Agege, and just keep an eye. The game in Asaba is not the World Cup qualifier; it's a friendly. I mean, if you follow any of these teams, I'll be surprised if you don't make your way to see the games.
Okay, that's it on your screen. Kano Pillars, after 2 matches leading, followed by Aqua United, Lobi Stars, Rangers International, Eyimba, and FC Ifeanyi in that order. But of course, trust me, there will be changes, especially after the matches tomorrow. Let's listen to some of the coaches speaking ahead of match day 3.
Well, I still have 3 matches to go. So anything can still, anything is still wide open, and we'll take all matches as they come. Yeah, as a general going to war, you will not open up actually what you want to do. You must hide your intention, and that is tactics. You must hide your intention from your opponents, because actually you don't actually know who is also spying on me and my team. But I tell you that you will not be disappointed. The fans will not be disappointed.
Every player, the whole players of Ifeanyi left the team. So we'll pick these players from nowhere, from the amateur league. I started grooming them to this stage. You know, I know when we started the league, nobody gave this team a chance that we'll get to the Super Six. We got there. People will see. Everyone that came to watch this team today will see that we got to the Super Six on merit. But unfortunately, our boys were not experienced enough to carry on. It's a good experience because naturally, people know I played football, and I believe that when you want to build a team, you think of players that are dedicated, that are determined and disciplined, that really want to make name for themselves. You know, when you get such players and you start grooming them up, you find that it is easier. Though it takes pains, it takes a lot of pains for you to bring them to the level you want them to be. But you must be patient, you must endure, and you must work harder for them to get there.
Football is a game of contact. And like I said, we are not trying to make excuses. We have so many players down, so many. Most of the players playing are not fully fit, you know, but we just need to play the game. And we want to manage the situation we have found ourselves. This is a different ball game. It's a tournament that everybody is watching.
Now we have 4 points. We need to study for our opponent now. Of course, it's possible. I have confidence for the boys, and we work for it. It's very, very important for us. We need to take forward now for Rangers for next game. We stood for our opponent, and I believe it's possible we carry very good results for us.
All right, welcome back. We got to go. We're pressed for time. And we got to wrap it up from here. Just Rafael Nadal has booked his place in the final of the French Open, defeating old rival Roger Federer. Guys, I want to thank you for your time today on the show. It was nice having you with us.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
All right. Thank you as well for allowing us be a part of your day. We'll do this again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.